There's news that can change the entire vibe of a team, and this is definitely one of those moments. After weeks of pure tension, the Baltimore Ravens finally got the sign everyone had been waiting for. Lamar Jackson is back. But hold on, it's not just about him getting back to practice. It's about what this could mean for a season that was almost slipping out of their hands. With the team sitting at 1-5 and every game counting like it's do or die, the return of number 8 could be the push that completely changes the story. The big question, though, is it still possible to save the season? Because what's coming up could very well be the most decisive moment of the Lamar Jackson era in Baltimore. It feels like the air in Baltimore shifted this week. After missing 2 games due to a tendon injury, Lamar Jackson finally returned to practice. It was as if a heavy cloud had lifted. The team had been stumbling, with only 1 win in 6 games, and the pressure was starting to weigh heavily in the locker room. Just having Lamar on the field changes the tone. The leader is back, and that alone brings the energy the whole roster had been missing. When he was seen with his helmet on, throwing passes, and leading plays during practice, you could feel hope starting to come back. Even without saying a word, Lamar has that kind of presence that speaks for itself. He's the heart of the offense, the guy everyone looks at when things start to spiral. Seeing him moving well, smiling, and participating normally in drills was a sign everyone had been waiting for. The commander is back on deck. Behind the scenes, it's clear this return isn't just about health. It's emotional. The Ravens were on the brink of collapse, and Lamar's absence seemed to take away not just talent but also confidence. John Harbaugh knows this comeback is a turning point the team needed because it's not just about playing. It's about believing again that a comeback is possible. When the team's best player returns, everyone feels compelled to raise their level with him, and the timing couldn't be more critical. Baltimore is about to face a game that could define the season, and nobody is better suited than Lamar Jackson to lead this mission. The team needs a jolt, a spark, and he is exactly that. The question now is, can he regain the rhythm he had before the injury and carry this roster on his back once again? Because if anyone can, it's him. And that question leads us straight to the next point. Because before the injury, Lamar wasn't just playing well, he was playing at a historic level. Before getting hurt, Lamar Jackson was simply playing the best football of his career. In the first 4 weeks, he looked unstoppable, completing nearly 72% of his passes, racking up over 850 yards, and throwing 10 touchdowns with just 1 interception. It was the kind of performance that reminded everyone why he's one of the most special players in the NFL. He controlled the pace of the games, baffled defenses with his mobility, and made nearly perfect decisions in the pocket. In other words, Lamar was dominating in a way few quarterbacks have in recent years. What made this start even more impressive was that he came off an already spectacular season, finishing as a runner-up MVP and All-Pro. It was like Lamar had reached a new level, more mature, more precise, yet still explosive as ever. Many analysts said he was playing like he had something to prove, silencing all the doubts that had surrounded his style early in his career. Then came the injury, and with it, silence. The Ravens' offense lost its flow, confidence, and most importantly, identity. Suddenly, the team that looked ready to take on anyone became hesitant, lacking the spark Lamar naturally brings. His absence was a clear reminder that when it comes to Baltimore's success, everything revolves around number 8. Now that he's back, the big question is whether he can immediately regain that dominant rhythm. The NFL is ruthless and lost time can be costly. But Lamar has already shown he's made of different stuff. And this return isn't just a physical comeback. It's a chance to reclaim what he was building and prove, once again, that his best is still ahead. And if the team can match that energy, maybe the Ravens season isn't lost just yet. That optimism, by the way, gets even stronger when we look at the division. Because despite the chaos, the AFC North is still completely wide open. What keeps Baltimore's hope alive is the simple fact that no team in the AFC North has truly pulled away. The Steelers have a solid defense, but an inconsistent offense that doesn't scare anyone. The Bengals are still battling key injuries, and the Browns remain stuck on a roller coaster of highs and lows. This creates a rare situation. Even at 1-5, Baltimore still has a real shot if they string together a good run over the next few weeks. This is one of the perks of playing in one of the league's most unpredictable divisions. Everything can change in just 2 games. And with Lamar Jackson back, the Ravens have something no other team in the AFC North possesses. A quarterback who can completely change the outcome of a game with a single play. He's the kind of player who can turn a loss into a win in the fourth quarter, and that alone puts Baltimore back in the conversation. Plus, the experience of John Harbaugh and the team's veteran core, guys who have been in high-pressure situations before, brings a sense of calm and direction that few teams in this situation have. This group has faced similar adversity, and the coach knows how to turn crises into fuel. That's why, even with a rough schedule, no one in the locker room seems ready to give up. If the Ravens can pull off a convincing win now, they can reignite confidence and put pressure on their rivals. The talent and depth of the roster is still there. All that was missing was the engine, and that engine has just been fired up again. The AFC North might look like a minefield, but it's exactly the kind of environment where Baltimore thrives. And if the team starts finding its rhythm, the next step will be aiming even higher, looking not just at the division, but the entire conference. And that brings us to the next point. The AFC landscape, which for the first time in years, seems to give the Ravens a window to dream of an improbable surge.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
In recent years, the AFC seemed like a fortress dominated by stable powerhouses. Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. But in 2025, the picture looks very different. Outside of those 2 big names, the entire conference seems vulnerable. The Bills are playing at a high level, sure, but the Chiefs still alternate between moments of brilliance and inconsistency. Beyond that, there isn't a team that really scares anyone, and that's music to the Ravens' ears. Baltimore faced one of the toughest early season schedules, immediately taking on some of the league's most explosive offenses. Now, the tide is starting to turn. The upcoming weeks bring more manageable opponents and real opportunities to build a winning streak. If Lamar stays healthy and the team finds a bit of consistency, this recovery window could be exactly what they need to get back into playoff contention. It's easy to forget, but the NFL is a game of moments, and no team understands that better than Baltimore. They've been at rock bottom before and bounced back when no one else believed. Lamar Jackson's return reignites that mindset, that anything is still possible if the team can combine focus and execution at the right time. The Ravens still have plenty of talent on both sides of the ball, an experienced coach, and a quarterback who is pure electricity once he gets in rhythm. That's enough to completely change the narrative of the season, especially in an AFC where no one seems willing to take full control. But for that to happen, they have to act now, because time is running out, and every game from here on feels like a playoff match. And that urgency brings us to the next point. For Baltimore, the moment of truth has arrived. It's win or vanish. The clock is ticking. Starting a season at 1-5 is practically a death sentence for most NFL teams. Only 4 teams have made the playoffs after such a start in the last 30 years. It's a harsh stat, and Baltimore knows it. But if there's a team capable of defying the odds, it's this group led by Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. From now on, every week is an elimination game. There's no room for mistakes, blowouts, or excuses. The good news is the team seems to understand the gravity of the situation. Leadership in the locker room is speaking up. Practices have a new energy, and Lamar's return has brought the sense of urgency that was missing. Baltimore knows it needs to respond fast, and even a small slip could end the season before December. This is a kind of scenario where a team's greatness is revealed. Playing under pressure, with your back against the wall, separates the good from the legendary, and Lamar Jackson has proven time and again that he thrives under that type of challenge. Now, he has the chance to write a new chapter, one of an improbable turnaround that could completely redefine 2025. The Ravens have talent, experience, and, most importantly, a leader who believes until the very last second. But belief alone isn't enough. It has to be turned into wins. Because at the end of the day, the NFL is ruthless. If you don't convert talent into results, all that remains is the cold weight of your record. And that's exactly what Baltimore is trying to avoid fighting against time, against history, and against everything that's been said about what's impossible. Lamar Jackson's return reignites something that seemed to be fading in Baltimore, the belief that this season can still be saved. He comes back not just as an all-pro quarterback, but as a leader carrying the weight and hope of an entire locker room. Every step, every pass, every win from here will define not only the Ravens' fate, but Lamar's legacy as the player who refuses to quit when everything seems lost. Now it's crunch time. With the team under pressure, the division wide open, and a more favorable schedule ahead, the Ravens have the chance to turn a disastrous start into a historic comeback. The question is simple. Do you believe Lamar Jackson can carry Baltimore back into playoff contention? Because if anyone can rewrite this story, it's him, and the next chapter starts now.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.